Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to another edition of That Green Vegans podcast. I'm Kelly. Hey, I should say that in the past from my old podcast. I used to bring that. So I don't know. I like that little intro. But anyway, I digress. So today episode, I wanted to talk about fake it until you make it. And this came up because I was in a situation recently where it was kind of like a group, of people, and someone was just saying how, they have been struggling for a while and, they just feel a certain kind of way. And then someone gave them the advice of, well, you should just fake it until you make it, right? Basically just, if you want to be rich, just act like you're rich until you become rich or whatever. And I sat there for a really long time, me. I got 95% Kelly that's like, oh yeah, la, butterflies and rainbows and puppy dogs and stuff like that, right? And then you have the 5% Kelly that's like really raw and real. And I don't know, a lot of people can't take the raw and real Kelly, but I just had to say, that's horrible advice. And then everybody just stopped and looked at me. And no one said anything for 3.5 seconds. And then the person who gave the advice got really butthurt and was like, but that's how you should be. I said, how, Sway? You ain't got the answers. Because it's like, that is horrible. Why would you want to fake it until you make it? I don't know where that came from. But the thing is, you need to... more like work. Just work till you get it. That should be the saying. Keep working, keep pushing, keep striving to whatever goal that you want to achieve, because all this, like, okay, say for instance, I want this image of being rich, right? So I'm like standing in front of people, cars that I don't know. I'm in a store. I'm wearing expensive stuff, but I'm in a corner, so you can't see where I'm at to look like I'm fronting. Or, I know people, let me tell you something. Back in the day, everybody went to clubs, right? I mean, it's not like that really nowadays, but back in the day, you went to the club. Like, I used to go to the club 4 days a week. 4 days a week. And I remember it was this one particular guy, and he was dressed like really, really fly, right? So he came up to me, and I seen something like kind of poking. I know a lot of people automatically they know where I'm going with this. For those that people don't know, just wait till I land this plane. He started walking closer to me, and I seen this little thing. So I went to grab it. Why was it? It was a price tag. And so when I went to grab it, he grabbed my arm kind of aggressively. And I was like, I looked at him and he said, oh, no, just. Because let me tell you something. Back in the day, they won't take your clothes back unless you had that tag attached to it. So people, not just men, women too, they would front and they would get outfits so they can act like they have all these clothes and fancy clothes, whatever, and are expensive clothes. And they would just tuck the price tag. They would wear it that night and then they return it the next day, right? Crazy. I've never done that in my life. I mean, I've worn something and I wasn't feeling it and I took it back to the store, but I've never just bought something just to know that, okay, I'm going to return this tomorrow after I didn't wear it, right? It's a bananas. But that is a prime example of fake it till you make it, because they want to come across and give the impression that they are, balling or whatever, that they can afford this stuff, and they really can't, right? So, or you'll have a person, and there's another thing too. It was this, I was watching this episode of, I think it was Pop the Balloon or something, and, so many out there. So this one guy just had all of these chains. I mean, it looked at Mr. T. And for those people who are young and don't know who Mr. T is, he used to be on this TV show called The A-Team. I know Mr. T probably did a whole bunch of other stuff, but he was really well known for being on this particular TV show in the 70s and stuff. And then that just became his persona with all the chains, right? And so it looked like he just was draped in just chains and stuff. So let me tell you, me and my family, we had went to Universal Studios. And so I remember seeing Mr. T in person. I was little at the time. And he was sitting on this thing and people was taking pictures of him. And so, I don't know, I should have took a picture of him because, yeah, anyway. I didn't take a picture of him, but or you can shake you can shake hands. He was signing autographs and stuff, right? So it was a bunch of people because he was very popular, and there was a bunch of people, and I couldn't see. And so I'm different. I've been different all my life. I'm not ashamed of it. So instead of me waiting in line, I went around. I went around everybody and went under the rope. I'm crazy. I went under the rope and behind where he was literally at, like behind the table where he was. Nobody stopped me. I'm a little kid, you know. And back then, I don't even think they had security. I mean, like security wasn't, because even like nowadays, is you got to have it. But anyway, I digress. So I come on the side of him and I look at him and he look at me and he goes, "Hi." And I was like, "Hi." And then all I hear is, "Dania, get over here." And so I looked with my little eyes and he looked down and he laughed, whatever. So I didn't want to come the way that I came because I had to go through a lot of people. So then I was just going to go around. So as I'm going around him, I went behind him and I was going to go back where kind of like go through the security, and it was like an open space. So as I'm walking around him, I look down and he has all those chains. It was all just one big ass chain. It wasn't like one big ass chain, but it was hella chains, but they were all connected. And it was this huge clasp. So it wasn't like he had to put on 100 chains. It was just one big ass clasp that was connected to the chain, right? And it was huge. It was big. It was like the size of my hand, right? And it was like a huge hook. And so I looked at that and I'm not sure if other people know. I've never Googled, I should Google it. But if other people knew that, but that kind of like, it's not that if it, I really do be going on a rant. I really, my point is, I used to think that was all those, I thought like all those chains was super heavy, right? Because, I mean, I'm trying to compare him to a dog, but I'll never forget my neighbor had a pit bull and he had a huge chain around his neck. And, but it was a nice pit bull. The pit bull knew me, whatever. And one day I was walking past the house and I guess he had, broke loose. And, I was walking by whatever. So he looked at whatever and I was like, "Hey, Buddha," whatever his dog name was. I don't know. I think it was Buddha. So these guys, was coming towards me and they said, "Hey, is that your dog?" So the dogs looked at the people and was like it was protecting me. And so I grabbed because he was like off the hook, but he had the chain around his neck and I grabbed the chain. And when I grabbed that chain, that was no light ass chain. That was like a heavy ass chain, like almost the kind of chains that be at the boat docks, the way the anchors and stuff. It was heavy. I wasn't that heavy, but it was pretty heavy. So I grabbed and it was like, barking and stuff like that. So the guys went away. So eventually I took him back, and then the owner hooked them back up, whatever, and talked whatever. And I was telling him, I said, he almost bit somebody because, I don't know. But at the time, I didn't realize that the dog was trying to protect me, which was great. Well, that part. But anyway, I circle back. So Mr. T got all these changes. So me thinking, I thought all those chains was individual chains. And in my mind, I'm relating it to that big, heavy chain. But it wasn't. They were hollow. They were just hollow ass chains connected to like a clasp, right? So circle back to pop the balloon. The guy had hella change on there, right? On his neck. And someone made a comment that, you trying to front like you got all like that. I guess he was like telling people like, I'm rich, I got this, I got that. So the lady's like, you sitting up here fronting and your chains is hollow. Which, like I said, always circle back, reminded me of Mr. T and all those chains that I thought was like heavy he had to put on every single day, right? Faking it till you make, not saying that Mr. T was faking it, whatever, or that guy, with the hollow chains, maybe he being, I mean, there's different reasons why people do different things, but he did try to come off as though he was something that, like he had all this, right? And another time, a guy, he had on I think it was like a Rolex, right, or some kind of like expensive watch. So he tried to go for this woman. I think her aesthetic, whatever. And so she said to him, "You sitting up here talking, and your watch don't even work, right?" And he said, I just say Rolex. This is a Rolex. She said, "But it don't work." And so then the host looked down. The host looked down and he said, "Well, it needs to be fixed, or it needs a battery or something." She said, "Like I said, it don't work." Right. So it is, but he wanted to front instead of just getting a battery and just having to work. She peeped it. She peeped it. So she must have seen it. But anyway, going back to faking until you making it. Don't fake it. You know what? Just stay focused. You know what? Instead of faking until you make it, stay focused till you make it, right? Do what you need to do to get to that, to that point, whatever in life. And I feel like so many times people really have this thing up in their mind about, I have to have a certain image. Let me tell you, in my mind, I really will see, and I feel like this. Don't be ashamed, right? Because there was a situation that I had when I was in college. Yeah. So I was going to junior college at the time. And I actually said this story. I shared this story before. So I'll just give you a small version of it on one of my get readies with me. How, I had, bought it was a place called Shoe Source, right? Or Payless Shoes. I think it was Payless. And so, my aunt, she had borrowed my outfit of mine and she ruined it, whatever. So she replaced the outfit, right? And so I had this outfit, but I didn't have any shoes for the outfit. I would think I was staying a weekend with her. And so the only thing that I could afford at the time was, because I really wanted some LA gear, and those are like really expensive, compared to the name brands now. And I couldn't afford that, but I could afford some Payless shoe store, like the little knockoffs, right? Like I said, we know now those knockoffs was no different than the original. They just, have different labels kind of thing. Because when I tell you, baby, them knockoffs looked just like identical to LA Gear, except they just had Pro Wings on it, right? So anyway, I go to school and I'm looking cute. Like, I'm cute anyway as it is. And I have my little cute hairstyle, I have my little cute outfit. And then had my things, and people came for me. They came for me and was like teasing me about my shoes, and it got to the point, so much so that I left school and I went home and I was feeling like really bad about myself, whatever. Because like back then, school was a kind of like a low key fashion show, right? People like came to school and they was all think what that wasn't my life. Like my life wasn't designers, you know what I'm saying? But you know what? I let it get to me. And I'll never forget, I was at the bus stop and I was going home, and this lady, she's like, "Oh my God, you are so adorable. You're so precious. Oh, you're just so pretty." And that changed how I felt. I felt good. I'm like, "Thank you." So it's just like, it wasn't me, it was them. They have issues, right? And it's crazy because I ain't even gonna front, but I would say 99% of those people that made fun of me, you should look at them now. Oh, what? Did I say that out loud? My bad. I bet you won't be saying that. I bet you won't be talking about me now. Now, let me tell you something. Not trying to front, not trying to think, but it's like I like nice things, right? Now, will I go out and buy a $2,000 pair of shoes? Maybe, if I really liked it, and I can go out and buy a $2,000 pair. I mean, I wouldn't buy. I would put it on my charge card, but I would not. I don't feel the need to look a certain kind of way or be a certain kind of way to people. I recently had a conversation with someone, right? And they low key, we had this whole conversation, and out of the whole conversation, they just looked at one thing. And I'm like, so out of this whole conversation, that's what you got out of it? And it's just like people, they cherry pick what they want. That's why I say don't fake it until you make it. Just focus on your goal. Work every day at being a better version of yourself. If you have a product, if you have a some kind of business, whatever you want to work on, whatever, just work on that. Don't worry about other people. Don't worry about putting yourself out there, or trying to figure out like what would people think. Who cares, right? You need to just do what you need to do. And then if you ask somebody for their opinion, just be prepared to get criticized, and because that's the thing about it. I feel like too, we're scared to hear the truth, right? And so a lot of times we will not ask for it. But you know what? When you ask for somebody's opinion and you get something that you don't like, take it and then work with it. Now, if it's someone that, I mean, like a lot of time people will offer their opinion, right? I didn't ask for your opinion, but some people will just like feel like they want it, right? Because that's their issue. Their stuff, right? And I know I always tell people your friends and your family are not your supporters and stuff like that, but it's not a bad thing. I think your friends and family, they love you and they just don't want to see you fail. So they will do things to try to protect you, in that sense. So sometimes it's good not to have friends and family because they won't get it. Now you do have friends and family that totally get it. I was hanging out with my friend. We do film production together, and videos and photography and things like that. So it was kind of nice because we just bounce stuff off each other, and we get to have like really cool conversations. And so those situations is really good to have people that have the same likes and desire as you, because when you're going through life, it's like you need your tribe, and I'm going to talk about that, like a whole nother episode about your tribe, and just having those people in your life that can relate. Where I stay, it's this group, and they make content, and it's really cool, it's really fun, kind of thing. They're just hella young. They're just so young. But then it's like it's so funny because I feel like too, that's another thing. You just can't judge, right? You just really have to just be around people who you resonate with, and who can feel your vibe, and who you can who you can bounce ideas off of and stuff like that. And that I will appreciate your craft, because not everybody is going to like feel your craft, right? So before I end this, I just want to say, don't fake it until you make it. The time that you're taking, let me tell you something, the time and the energy you are going in faking something, that time could be actually poured into you achieving the actual goal that you want to have, because it takes a lot to like fake something. It really does. It takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of resources. So you don't want to do that. So I hope you got some value out of today's podcast. Just keep focused, write down your goals, and just knock them out one by one. One thing that somebody told me a long time ago was they asked me, how do you eat an elephant? And I was like, how? It's like one bite at a time. It might seem like it's gonna take forever, but slowly you're gonna see a dent. Well, I shouldn't say that. I'm a vegan. Don't eat no elephants. But you know what I'm saying? I gotta find something else. But basically, that's what I'm saying. Like, just take your time little by little, and you'll get it done. And before you know it, you'll have it completed. And you're not faking it. You'll be actually making it. Nice. So, in ending, if no one's told you today that they love you, I love you. Mwah! Now go out there and be great. Bye.